Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about BizTalk database SQL agent jobs. Before we start, let me introduce myself. Moving to the next job, message box message cleanup. So the functionality of this job to remove all messages that are no longer being referenced by any subscriber in the BizTalk message box. So this job, by default, this job is in disabled state. Okay, but here this job is dependent on this another job. Okay, so if I'll show you the another job is a message box message manage ref count log BizTalk message box. Okay, so this job is dependent on another job. All right, so please do not start this job. Do not start this job because this job is eventually this job is called inside to another job. Okay, so you don't have to enable this job, and if you can see the schedule also, you will not see any schedule for this job. Okay, we don't have any schedule. All right, so you can just cancel this one. Let's move to another job. So by default these three jobs will be in disabled state, so you have to configure and enable this job, a backup BizTalk job and DTA purging job. But message box message cleanup BizTalk message box DB, this job you don't have to enable it because internally this job is internally called in this in another job. Okay, so let's move to the another job. So the criticality of this job is very high. All right, and the schedule of this job is like it will run every day, every minute. And functionality of this job, so this job manages the reference count log for message and determine when message is no longer referenced by any subscriber. Okay, so this job, a risk of failure of this job is like failure of this job doesn't impact the environment, but it is actually the cleanup job and it is more important. Okay, so as previously mentioned, the cleanup should complete as soon as possible. Okay, so otherwise we are going to have a very big problem if we will not clean the completed message. Alright, so moving to the next job, message box part cleanup BizTalk message box job. Okay, the functionality of this job is like it will remove all the message parts that are no longer being referenced by any message in the BizTalk message box, and all messages are made up of one or more message parts which contain the actual message data. So criticality of this job is like it is a medium criticality, and the schedule, if you can see, the frequency is like every day, every minute it will run. We don't have any dependency on any another job, and risk of failure is like as each message contains one or more message parts, so they have to remove when any subscriber no longer reference them. Okay, moving to the next job, message box update stat. So this job, functionality of this job is manually update the stats of BizTalk message box database. Alright, and the criticality perspective, this is a medium critical, and schedule, if you can see, it is scheduled for every day, every 5 minutes. We don't have any dependency on any another job. Next job we have the monitor BizTalk server. Monitor BizTalk server is again the one of the high criticality job. So this job runs once every week and find known issue in the message box and DTDB. Okay, so the criticality of this risk of failure of this job is like failure of this job might impact our environment, because as per the functionality this job will scan the known issue for the main databases of BizTalk like message box or DTDB. Alright, so this job should be running properly, Next job we have a operations operate on instance on master. So if you open this job is needed for multiple message box deployment, and it asynchronously perform operational action such as bulk termination on the master message box after those changes has been applied to the subordinate message box. Okay, so criticality perspective, this is a medium critical job, and schedule is like every minute it will run. Okay, we don't have any dependency on this job. Next is per subscriptions job. So functionality of this job: per unused subscription predict from BizTalk Server message box database. Criticality is medium. Schedule is it will run every day, every minute. Alright, we don't have any dependency on any other jobs. Then next job we have a rules database cleanup. Functionality of this job: it will automatically purge the old audit data from rule engine for the every 19 days, and this job also purge old historical data like deployed undeployed notification from rule engine database every 3 days. So if you can see in this setup, we have this only one setup, and we call this store procedure is scheduled here. Frequency perspective, you can see this will run every day, every 1 hour. Okay, and we don't have any dependency on this job. Then we have our last job called tracked message copy. Okay, so the functionality of this job is like it will copies the message bodies of tracked message from message box DB to tracking database. Criticality is very high. We don't have any dependency on any another jobs, and frequency is also it will run every day, every 1 minute. Risk of failure is like if it will fail, then it will not copy the message body of the tracked message from message box to tracking database. So your message box size will grow, and it will impact to your landscape. Okay, so these are the jobs that we have it here. So now if you want to see if you want to monitor entire job in a single page, then you have to open this job activity monitor. Just double click on that. If you see here, so one of my job is currently it is executing, so that's why it is status is in executing. Okay, if you can see here, I can see the status of all the jobs here. All right, this job is not enabled yet, it is showing no. Status is ideal. Last run outcome was unknown. Last run timing was never. Next run timing, it is showing this time based on the current date. It will take the timing here. Okay, and it will have a category and enable those information we have it. Okay, suppose in case if it will fail, so let me refresh it again. So I have just refreshed it. Okay, so seems like this job. Okay, so I just refreshed. We don't have any issue. We are not seeing any error. Okay, so in case of any issue or any error, you will see this icon will come like a cross icon. Okay, then you can just double click on that, then you can verify the why it was failed. Now suppose if I want to check the history of this job, this job is enabled, and last run it is also showing last run was none. Let me check this job, message box date process cleanup. Okay, so this was executed last 1 minute ago. All right, so let me check the history. I'll go here, I'll click on view history. If you can see here, it will give you the information about the last execution result. Okay, so everything is green. We don't have any issue. Okay, everything was working fine. Okay, in the same way you can check the history of each jobs, if it was failed, or if it was failed, then at what step it was failed and why it was failed. You can check in the logs, and based on that error you can troubleshoot, or you can check the errors and you can fix that. Okay, so there are a couple of guidelines to monitor the SQL Server Agent jobs. Okay, so what are the guidelines is, so every time what you have to do, you have to just verify your SQL Server Agent service is running fine. How you can verify that? Go to the services and check the SQL Server Agent, this service. Okay, SQL Server Agent. Okay, so this agent job, so this service should be running without any issue. Okay, and one more point, you have to check your SQL agent is working fine. So let me close this window, I'll go here, and this one, SQL Server Agent should be running in running state. Alright, so when I say running state, if I'll right click on it, I'll get the option stop and restart. Okay, so first time what happened, your SQL agent will be in stop state, and here in the service, if you can see, it is set up as a manual. Okay, so if I'll set up it automatically, then whenever my server will reboot, we don't have to go and manually restart this agent. It will automatically restart. But in my case, this service is configured as a manual, so that means I have to go and I have to start this agent every time whenever my server restarted. Okay, so you have to verify, just verify like your service is running, your server agent is running. So how you can verify your server agent is running? You can open the SQL Server Configuration Manager. From here also you can just check if your server agent is running or not, and what is the startup mode. Okay, so if you can see here, my SQL Server Agent is running fine. Okay, so the good practice is like for SQL Server Agent also, you can configure it to automatically. You just have to go here in properties and you have to just change this startup type to automatic. Okay, so that is a good practice to have it. But in case of if your environment is like cluster resource, then your SQL Server services, this should be in the manual state only. Okay, it should be in a manual startup only, because it will be managed by the cluster services. But if you have a single instance, if you don't have the cluster services or cluster environment, then you can keep your startup type as automatic. Alright, so that is more about the BizTalk database SQL jobs. In case have any doubt or any question or any query, you can contact me or you can comment below. I'll try to resolve that issue. Thank you. Have a nice day.